Beautiful downtown Kansas. Sun came up this morning at 6:31. Sunrise here at Call Point. The colors are up on the Keelboat at 7 o'clock, and we'll have colors at the camp at 9 o'clock.
So is this the flagpole they use?
Back to the Stone Age. Their flagpole.
Yeah, he's just saying, gosh, he
Yeah.
Oh, the snake. Okay, that means we have to go back there.
Let's start cooling.
I didn't know they had green drinking cups.
Did you head on? Clear. Left. Welcome to the club to my left. Oh, take the spot.
Give me an idea.
And then they will disseminate information for the good of the court, the rest of us, and we'll be ready for the rest of the day.
But you'll be facing this way?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We'll be facing that flagpole.
It's better than fishing into the sun. We've been up since 5 o'clock this morning getting ready for this.
We know that because you woke us up 3 times.
Good, right? You're going to have to get off the boat something just like concrete.
Yeah.
He was.
Rumbling
I
around.
don't find a whole lot of people that I agree with most things on. I'm sticking right with Kim.
Kevin, was this with yours? Clear.
How's this?
We farm 2 lines instead of 3.
How do you want us?
John? Over here. Gotta move up. We'll see what else we need to do here. More, one more? Yeah. Go over here.
Our Indian chief must have found a squaw last night. He's not here. I don't know what the problem is. These guys right here. This color. Derek. Color party 2 post. Present arms. Let tyrants shake their iron rods and slavery clang her galling chain. We fear them not, we trust God, New Columbia's God, forever reign. Colored partner. Order arms. Color.
When you're on the ground crew, you have all the administrative things. The ground crew is the best place to be. So I'm usually on the phone like this.
All the time, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna need the game plan where we're going. Do I store it up here or do I just store it?
Okay, we're gonna patch the plank.
Get everything off this side of the boat now. Hold on just a minute. See what I'm talking about? Snakes on the deck?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Get that under the deck up there before somebody else breaks the leg. We got it covered. You want this in there? Yeah, and then one guy in the middle and Derek on the end. Keep that off the deck so we don't scratch the deck.
Are you gonna
Got the rope.
Are you gonna put it on the cabin?
Going up on the cabin. Somebody grab the middle, pass it back, get some hands on it. Take it off the deck, pass it on up. Use the rope. Somebody grab that green board that's up on the bridge, put it on the port floorboard right in front of the cabin.
This board here?
Yeah,
Where do you want it?
on the floor right in front of the cabin. There's some sandbags behind you. Grab those sandbags and throw them on top. Takes a vibration out of it. No, on top of the board you just put there. Scoot it all the way over on the port side.
Wait.
What was
Scoot
that?
it all the way
Scoot
that
that cord all the way on the port side.
Board. There we go. Walter, you got my people where they belong?
Okay, you need to come back up here.
Move back over, even out the boat.
Walter, you got the people where they belong?
Not yet.
There are 4 guys inside.
Come back here. Get back here. Derek, why don't you go up on the bridge and help with the stern line?
You got the stern under control. Stay there. We'll walk
I want you to go back there and help with the stern line.
No, they tell me to stay.
Okay.
Here you go. I'll sit right here. It's nice to be balanced.
All right, you might get a command to rock the boat. So if you see me jump down and I say rock, in unison, rock back and forth.
Like the slide into the water.
What? Oh, well, I don't know what. Oh, you found it. Okay. Okay. Okay.
They're getting getting ready to fire cannon off right now. Okay. Bye.
Let him slob it down.
Fire!
Still makes the job. You know I don't have to.
I know, I will. First I have to take care of the cannon. Do you want me to take care of the cannon first or the floor?
What are you going to do with the cannon?
I have to clean it out, swab it, and then I can take care of this.
Hit the floor first.
Okay.
And then he can be coiling that rope. Bring it out so it's dry.
Just felt the engine kick, that's why I dropped it.
Locker on top of the deck, top of the cabin. Goes in a very bad locker, port locker.
Got another charge there?
On top of the cabin, the port locker on top of the cabin. Very back locker.
But you said deck.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Cabin deck, I meant to say.
That's right. At least I got port right.
At least we got locker right.
And we got locker right and port.
We're going to have a boat safety class, so if you want to get something to drink,
Oh,
we
no
got
way.
water, soda, whatever.
Got scotch.
No liquor.
That's before noon.
Anybody need anything to drink? Wait till I can. They're finally catching up with their regulations. No problem.
I'm finally catching up with it. Let's put it that way.
I could whip up a pamphlet real quick. What's it called?
Jim Tucker, come on down for the safety class. Is that done? Come on down for the safety class.
Okay.
Gotta go through it. You learn something every time.
I'll sit back
I'm gonna scoot down here. You wanna let Kay on the end so she can video this from the end?
From the
You're
end?
gonna be right in my face.
That's it.
She wants a close up. You're the most handsome person on the boat,
Should
Walter.
put my hand on now. That ain't gonna work.
rolling.
Okay, 101, boat safety class. There's one skipper on a boat. His name is Concrete. He gives the orders. Most of the guys that are on this crew all the time pretty much know what to do. So you guys are on standby if we ask you to do something. We don't need you offering. If we need you, we'll ask you to do something. Okay. I'm going right into the man overboard drill. If there's a man overboard, an oar, a flag, or whatever, the person see it goes overboard, points to that object that's in the water. Do not take your hands off of it. Keep your eyes focused on it. Somebody else will grab a flotation device and we will recover it. If you would turn around and reach and grab something, our skipper's going to be responding to where you're pointing to. You're pointing this way, he's going to steer the boat this way. If you turn around to grab something, he's going to turn the boat this way. He's going to run over somebody and chop them up. If you are in the water, do not panic. If we go past you, we got to get a boat into a safe position so we can pick you up safely. Flotation devices. We got our life jackets in the forward locker on the port side. Life jackets back here and life jackets up on the bridge for the crew on the bridge. We have 3 safety throwing devices. It's a 25-foot line. You grab a hold of this thing, you reach in there, you undo this little slip, and then you throw it 25 feet. I want you to take it out on a bank and practice it. Jim, pick it up and tuck it back in. There's a special way of tucking it in so you can throw it out. Do you want to be in the water with somebody that can't throw that 25 feet? I want you taking it ashore and practicing with it. How many people have taken it ashore and practiced with it? 1. Pretty poor record. It's serious. Seconds matter. They can save a life. If we throw you this thing and you're in the water, do we throw it upriver or downriver from where the guy's in the water? I would throw it downriver because most people can't swim up this river in the current. You throw it downriver and they can swim to it. Whatever. Different situations might require you to throw it differently. We have 2 anchors on this boat. The anchors are stored in a 5-gallon bucket. You want to get up and look at them? The anchors are stored in a 5-gallon bucket just like this safety line. Nothing should be on top of those anchors. If we got to get to them, we got to get to them. Take that foul gear out of there. Grab one of the buckets and pick it up so we can show it to Kay. One guy hold the locker, one guy pull the bucket out and set it up here. This is stored incorrectly. We're going to pull it out of there and store it right. There's 2 ends of that anchor line. You got the anchor on one end, you got the end of the line on the very end of this. You take the very end of the line and put it under the bucket. Very end of the line and put it under the bucket. Now this line gets stored back in there all the way up to where the anchor is. I can reach in there and grab the anchor, grab this bucket. Somebody can grab the end of the line and tie it off, and we can put the anchor in the water. I don't want anybody handling the anchor except people it's familiar with. The closest guy, if we hit an emergency, grabs the end of this line and ties it off and get out of the way. I should be able to reach in there and grab an anchor and a bucket without being fouled in a matter of seconds. Seconds matter and can save a life. Are there any questions?
Where would you tie it off at?
Anything. Side of the boat, a cleat. The boat right now is the mast is sticking up, and the pilot of the boat was thinking it was going to hit the bottom of the bridge. Usually on a bridge, column sticking out in the water, they got 45 feet to the underside of the deck, 25 feet, 10 feet. So you're coming down or upriver, you can tell how much clearance you got. Your boat might not fit under that bridge. I don't know if it was washed away or what the problem was at the last bridge. Fire extinguishers. We have 3 fire extinguishers and they're easy to get to. That's not a champagne box up there on the mast. Lift it up. Lift that up and pull the fire extinguisher out. Let's bring it out and show everybody how to use it. That's ABC Coast Guard approved fire extinguisher. Boat vibration causes this fire extinguisher to settle down. You feel it sometimes and it feels solid. You gotta bang it on something and shake it up before you pull a pin and start using it. You want the bases on the seat of the fire, not on the top of the fire. You want to be down here, close as you can get to put that fire out. Ours are dated, they're all brand new and fresh. But they're Coast Guard approved. You store that back in the box. There's one inside the cabin right here.
Yep.
And there's one in the forward locker up there. We'll start with the forward locker on the port side. No, just sit there. Back is a bumper locker, rope locker, and we have a rope ladder in there. We can throw the ladder over and you can climb out of the water. Behind that should be...
That was empty.
Yeah.
It's an empty locker.
That's personal gear.
Stuff in there.
The next lockers are anchor locker. These 2 lockers are personal gear. The last one back here is the recycling and bottles and plastic. You'd probably be asked to take the trash ashore. Most places had dumpsters. If you put them in the closest barrel to where the boat's at, let's get the smell away from the boat. This locker back here is a tool locker. These are hand tools only. We got electric tools on top of the bridge. Personnel locker, fuel locker, personnel locker, and then we got our tentage for the wall tentage. The only thing that goes in that locker is wall tentage. Start up here on the port side on the cabin. All these white and brown poles get stored in that locker up there with ropes and material that fixes those and maintains those. The only other thing that goes in that locker is the pennant, which is flying on the back of the boat. That comes up and down at night, first thing in and out. Behind that, we have old rope, long lines of old rope. Today we're going to be taking some old rope. We got bumpers that are frayed and knotted up, whatever. We're going to be retying those so they look decent. On this side of the locker, we have a first aid kit, life jackets, and that's the only thing that goes in that locker. Behind that is our power tools. Behind that are the controls for the motor. You got no reason to be in those lockers. The aft locker is spare for our 360-degree nighttime light, which is a photo cell that turns itself on and off. You need to make sure every night that that's on the back of the boat. If you're staying in boat watch and the sun goes down, that light's got to be out for other boats. All the tentages will be tied with a slip knot. We got loose lines like that. We need your help securing those lines. The next one up, Jim. Jim, the next one up, dangling. Show him, watch him tying that off. Okay? Watch him tying it.
Okay.
Want to secure it up here?
No, tie it off like this.
Right off the post there.
Clove hitch. Jim, wrap it around the rope one time. And then straight down. Clove hitch. You should pull that canvas tight to take the belly wamp out of the canvas. No, you're not over. Look over your head. Look over your head, right directly over your head. You gotta pull that belly wamp. So pull that canvas over to the rope before you pull it. There you go. That holds its tentage down at 60-mile-an-hour winds. Got a rope dangling down like this, stuck in the locker. The whipping gets pulled off, the braces get pulled, rope in the locker. It's something like this. What you do is just reach up here and tie a slip hitch in there. Keeps it out of the locker so we can get in on the lockers. It saves our line. We need help keeping the belly wamps out of the canvas when it's dry, especially when it's raining. We're on a 5-hour trip today. I would like to teach you guys how to set the sail. Isn't that part of the safety? What am I missing? Where did I go? What am I missing? This is one of our chamber pots. How you use this. When you finish is Germex. You put a little water in this thing, go back in the cabin, we'll pull the cabin curtains down, you can use it, bring it out, dispose of it, clean it out, store it back under deck here. Put your hands in, or put the rope back in. Try and keep the rope dry. Germex. Out of the fuel locker, grab me my hermetically sealed. Okay, you want to get back farther. Yep.
Good.
In the fuel locker we have a generator and all electric extension cords.
What type of fuel?
What?
Is it diesel?
Gasoline. 270 gallons, 2 tanks. We need to switch the tanks. This is our sterilized, homogenized, hermetically sealed, environmentally approved, highly recommended to show off in case somebody asks you what do you use for a bathroom on a boat. You don't tell them, you go stand behind a tree. They don't want to hear that. How this operates. These flip up. That's why most people prefer to use the chamber pot. 5-gallon bucket. Plastic, it will break, so be careful. The seat lifts up. You grab one of these pouches out of here. They're self-explanatory on the back. You tear it open. It's trash. Inside of here, you'll find a nice big plastic bag, which what I call cat litter in it. You take that big plastic bag, put it around here, push the cat litter down. Inside, there'll be 3 more packages. People paper, towelettes, another package to hermetically seal this. After you use it, you want to put everything in that hermetically sealed bag. If you want, swoosh the air out, seal it up, and dispose of it over here. These are $1 a shot. Right now we're down to 1. We need to stop off at the Walmart or RV camping supply place and pick us up at least 5 or 10. This is kind of complicated to put away. Pushes down this way. One of these sides is harder than the other. And then it gets stored back in that locker. Our chamber pot was used one time when we had poison ivy at a wilderness camp 18 times one night. So we're people, there's no sense of being embarrassed. We would rather you not get sick. You can drop the curtains, whatever. It's bodily function. Anything I missed there? Oh, our Coast Guard manual. We have a manual on board, which our DSEC regulations require that you read and become familiar with. We can pass it around in between your sightseeing. We should pass it around before they get on the boat.
Right. Some of them only have one.
Up the river.
One thing Lloyd left out, Corporal Worthington left out, Walter, was...
Derek! Where's Derek?
This is the pamphlet that Walter is referring to that DSEC guidelines say we have to review. So if everybody will just take a few minutes to review it today, appreciate it. And if anybody's taken a Coast Guard course, they've already read that thing. At least they should have.
I was going to say, in regards to the commode, a little ditty comes to mind. A sailor goes to many lands and does just what he pleases, but when he lands upon the shore, he washes his hands so he gets no diseases. Something like that. You heard that one before?
That's
somewhere?
why I said Germex,
There you
Germex,
go.
Germex. In these barrels, this is our paper cups, towels, and people paper. That's our paper barrel. We're not fully set up here. We got all kind of stash in this one. This is our goodies, our cookies, and so on and so forth. In that one, we got a lot of raisins and some meat sticks and bottled water.
And every woman has to eat at least 2 sticks before they leave here.
And it's highly recommended for a 5-hour trip that you drink 2 bottles of water. Because you do get dehydrated with the air that's coming along, and you're probably going to have to go. Don't hold it, go. We don't want anybody getting sick. We don't want anybody getting kidney stones. That's from not drinking water. You got any questions? Anybody that don't know to slip cleat quick release cleat knot. I'll take them up, show them how to do it. You know how to do it? You know how to do it?
No.
Well, let's get you up there and chat. Missed our bilges. Something like this left on the floor gets down in our bilges and clogs it up. So if you find anything like this, put it in the trash locker. This happens to be organic, so throw something organic overboard. Something solid we put in the trash locker. We don't want people get their pants tore up. When we get done with this, we're gonna wipe down the deck. See those line you're standing. See that stuff?
Yeah.
Pass it back to the trash locker. There's no excuse for leaving trash on deck. There's enough people on deck that we can pass stuff back. When you're using a line and put away a line, never put away a line with the knot in it. The next guy is going to need it. He might need it to save somebody's life, and he doesn't have time to untangle somebody else's mess. Seconds do matter. Find the end of this one.
Walter, is that a Bolson whistle on your necklace?
Yes. We use that for calling guys for formation and raising the flag.
Now, Bill's look.
Oh, wait till that shuts off. Pull up a line, coiling up a line, you twist it as you coil it, and it takes the kinks out of it. I'm twisting with my left hand here, and it takes the kinks out of the line. This is approximately a 25-foot line. This is poor seamanship right here that needs to be cut off and whipped so there's no knots in a line when you put it away. To properly store this line, you reach in here and grab any one of these loops. You tuck it through either once or twice, and you hang it up somewhere on the boat. When you grab it, this comes untucked, and that line will literally fall apart without getting tangled. So we'll take this. This will be a bowline knot here. I'll have to explain that to you later.
I know how.
Okay. Hook it over that cleat over there. That cleat right here. Hold on here. This one here's got to be refilled on both ends. When pulling into a dock, we're using short lines. Pulling into the bank, we use long lines. Short lines for the dock, long lines for the bank. Pulling into the dock, we're using you for a break. How we use you for a break is that gets tied off on the dock, and I would take the slack out this way. If for some reason he needs slack in that line, I can release it real quick. And we got slack in the line. If he tells you to put slack in the line. For our quick release knot, all you need is one hitch, and it goes right over there. Now pull that line as hard as you can pull it. Pull that off the boat. Pull it off the boat.
Like that?
Pull it off the boat. Just try and pull it off the boat. You can't pull it off the boat. You right-handed or left-handed? You take your right finger and your right finger and thumb. put it right here. Now push. Push it all the way up. It's quick release. If you would go this way and put this on this way and tighten down on it, it's going to take you more time. Push it, it won't come untied. If you're going around like this and like this and like this, and seconds matter, you just lost somebody's life. I'm a stickler on quick release knots.
Show me how to.
This shows you don't know what you're doing. You're a break. If you have to, you can really break it. And then go back to your quick tie. It's one hitch is all you need. This will hold you in a hurricane. That's not going to come off the boat, and that line will break before this comes untied. On the other end, I got a bowline so he could flip over the cleat. So when we go in the dock, we're concrete doing the boat right. You go into the boat ramp or boat dock real slow, and you should be able to hand him the line. You don't have to throw it to him 25 feet. He's going slow enough, you should be able to hand it to him. He can cleat off, and then you can secure the line here. And you can do it in a matter of seconds. When we leave that there for a minute. When we leave, we do what we call release from the boat. So you'd loop this line over there.
Loop it around like this.
All the way around the cleat, one time. Just one time. This line would come back to the boat. This is what we call retying the boat after we're docked for a quick release. I would have this line I just made real short. It comes to here, so when I would release this line, I could pull this in and we're free of the dock. The reason for that is nobody's standing on a dock, nobody's pushing us, nobody falls in the water. We are under control of the boat, and when it's time to release, nobody gets hurt. We do it from inside the boat. I know I'm missing something here. When we get tied up and secure, we'll retie the boat for quick release. We'll show you how it's done. You got any questions on how to tie the bowline? We can show you. You want to try it?
I know how to tie a bowline. I'm a scout.
There's several different ways to tie a bowline. You're going around a tree with a long line, we use a bowline because under pressure we can still break it loose and then get untied from a tree. Okay, now it's your turn. Drop the mast so we clear this bridge. Put that away. Pull it, you can't profile.
smoking.
They do push forward. Belly's out. No, I was in the middle, but I rolled them out.
Okay.
So you can double those up. Put one on top of the other, one on the shoulder. Lay that on top. There needs to be one against the wall outside the boat. It needs to be all the way over. And one on this seam. The other one is just filling. They go on the fill of the water. See how they're digging down now? They need to shove back so people don't get stuck in their face. Put it right here so. Okay.
Should be where we always store it, in that box.
You know where the sinews at?
What?
The sinew.
Keep your black bag right on that box.
The sinews in the black bag.
In the bucket.
Put it in the bucket.
dirty.
It's right. Empty the bucket out. That bucket's not empty. But there's still water in the bottom of it. Get the water out of the bucket. We're trying to keep the rope dry. And get that you'll have to lay it over the other way.
What are you doing?
The other way so the water don't get
Trying to tie a Turk's head, or at least that's what it's called, so that when somebody has this, it doesn't slip out of their hands. And right now the rope's throwing a fit.
Walter, why is your bosun's mates different from Bill's?
bills. Who's
My husband. I mean, his is silver.
they have silver and they have brass, and those are today's Navy or Coast Guard or Merchant Marines, whatever, boatswain's whistle. This is made out of bone. So who made them out of bone? Egyptians, Arabians, whoever.
Oh, okay.
The Vikings. I don't know instead of hollering at somebody, this cuts through the wind. I say it will penetrate a half a mile in the wind. And on sailing ships, when they're way up, they can hear the commands, lower the sails. On our expedition, because I'm not so loud, I use it to call them for muster or group meetings or whatever.
When it's tight. Problem is it slips because this is so slippery. We had something in here that would stop it from sliding.
I'm going to have to do it with this kind of line. I'm going to have to do it with that kind of line. And it will get varnished to the board, and you can put a nail in there so you can't see the nail.
Okay.
And we do have extra line that size.
I'll do it later when we stop. I got other things to do.
And what are you doing?
Whipping the end of this rope so that it doesn't come unfrayed. Okay. Wrap it around and you pull this thing through.
There's other stuff that don't fall in the water. No. Bow line. If you look over here on the port side, we're passing a sand dredge. You want to get up on a bow and stand on a stick. All the numbers are marked on the boards. You can read them from inside the boat. Starboard, if you look over on the other side, there's the port. Everybody on the ship to turn
Over here if you like. On that. We'll give you a little bit of boating class. The biggest water in the world is the ocean. Anytime you were coming back from the ocean, there's markers and cans and things in the water that are placed by the United States Coast Guard. When you're coming back from the biggest body of water, it's always red, right, returning, meaning that the red buoy is on your right shoulder returning to home. Okay? Because we're going downriver now, we have to reverse our thought. So we have the greens on our right shoulder. When I find one, I'll show it to you. We run to operate the boat on this chart like this. This green placard here tells us where to cross the river. And I think I see it up there. See the lawyer about 1 o'clock?
I got it.
Okay. We're coming along this bend right here, heading for this green one. When this green one gets on our right shoulder, we're going to look kitty corner across the river, and we're going to find a red one. We will cut across the river on an angle to that red one. That always keeps us in the deepest water. So that's basically, and right now, each one of these got a number on it. This one we're coming up to is number 354.8. That means that we are 354.8 miles to the Mississippi River. So I will know by running this chart book, I know all the time where we are, where to cross the rivers, and what to look for in the woods.
Green can down the bow, Captain.
Okay, look way ahead. If you had a wristwatch and you put the mast at 12 o'clock to the right, about quarter after 12, you're going to see a green can sitting in the river. Okay, the green cans are flat top. Those are cans. When we find a red one I showed you, it's a nun because it's got the pointy hat on the top. So we can tell by the silhouette of the cans exactly where we're supposed to turn in case there's something strange that's not on the chart book. We see that, we know. So now what we're doing, we're running for that green placard. You see it there in the woods on the right hand side. And then a green can. That tells us don't go anywhere that way, stay out on this side. Remember I said green can, right shoulder going downbound, going away from home. So right now, if you want to look to your head to your left and see if you can pick out the red one, that's the way we run. A clue is usually like somebody cut the grass around it, but that's because the bushes are cut down. I can see it, I think.
I see it.
Okay. So what you got to run to these markers. If you cut too soon, you're going to cut it to a wing dike. Now a wing dike is a piece of rock like this here, but this way in the water. And that tells me right here. I see it here, and here, and here. There's this one right here is that one right there. Because there is our green sign. So here's our green sign, and there's those rocks running this way. So I know exactly where I am. Now we'll look on the top there. You'll see each one of those got a little white sign on the top. That tells us the number that corresponds with the book. This number should be 354.8. And it's 355.2. Okay?
Looks like you're really
355.2. Okay, there it is right there, 355.0. So they renumbered it since this book was printed. That's the green one, and there's a green can. We just went past it. Now the red one should be someplace on an angle like that, 11 o'clock on your wristwatch if you were looking that way. The river today is flowing at about 6 miles an hour naturally, and we are running hopefully around 12 miles an hour. Because it's a 5-hour run, and we don't want to spend all day on the water, but it's a nice day. It's kind of windy, but it's a nice day. Now, I would like each of you to take a turn on the tiller to feel it. It's not that big of a deal. I'll be up here with you to make sure everything goes right. So, would you want to be first?
Oh, I'd love that.
Okay, so Kay's got her camera, she can take your picture.
Okay.
Okay, once you take the 5, I'll be up there. Have it on the end, it's easier to steer. Now, I want you just for now, just go. Bring your left hand. Do it any way you want. Just step back a little bit.
Step back. Alright.
Just push it towards me a little bit. Now watch how the front end's going to move real fast. Push it, push it, push, push.
Oh, I see.
Two hands. Push hard. See how fast it moves down the other way. Pull it back. Pull it back. Harder yet. Okay. See how easy that is?
Yes.
Now you go straight now.
Okay.
I have not found that red target yet. I see it now. You see it?
No.
Way down there. It's just about on top of the guy's head with the motor scooter right now. You see the trees? It's a red flash.
Oh yes. Okay, I do.
Okay.
Alright.
Now you have to aim for that.
I have to aim
And you
for
just
that.
study.
Okay.
You just study. You stare at that, and you stare at. You stare at that.
So I want to keep the point to the boat.
The boat steers by the back end. Car steers with the front, the boat's the back. So when you want to steer, the back is going to move over to make the straight line where you want to go. So just right about there, I'm saying. I'll hold it straight. If you start wandering, there's a current in the wind, and you got to pull it or push it.
Oh my goodness, okay.
You pull it to you a little bit.
Pull it to me, I was going the wrong way.
Yeah, pull it, pull it. It's backwards because you think it's a car.
Yeah.
Pull it some more.
A little more, okay.
Pull it some more. Some more. Some more. Okay, on. More on. Put these wing dikes in to push the water to the center of the river to keep it deep. Now the channel is supposed to be maintained at 9.5 to 10 feet. If the water, because of drought, falls below that, they will shut the river down. They'll shut the river off. If that barge would probably still work in here because he's local, he knows everything. But a barge coming up from Kansas, from St. Louis or something, they would stop him right there.
Boy, it fights against you, doesn't it?
Well, when there's about a 35-mile-an-hour wind, you're already fighting. You wouldn't be able to hold it. You're too light. You just get thrown all around the place.
Now,
You gotta
do I
have
need
a beef
to go?
up there.
Do I
Yep,
need
now you
to
push towards me.
push towards you? Okay, I was going to pull towards
No.
me, so.
See that happens?
Okay, now I straighten it back out?
Yep.
Okay. Oh my. Okay, now I need to go more towards you,
Well,
right?
you're okay for a while, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, just right. Just steer it the way you feel. If you get way out of line, I'll say something.
Okay.
You see those rock piles, those are the wing dikes, they come way out here because there's a curve here. So
Okay.
you gotta really stay on that red one. If you wander that way, you're gonna go over the rock pile.
Okay.
Another way.
Oh. Now see, I'm worried that I'm getting too close to the shore.
Oh, well, that gets you over.
So I need to go towards you.
Yeah, see, now you're gonna turn away from the shore.
Okay, now
Some more
straight
yet,
down.
no, a little more yet.
Okay.
Just see that green can out there now?
Yes.
Okay, you gotta go between the middle between that green can and that red placard. Just about where that boulder is, way on the shore over there. Pick out a tree there and aim for that tree. Make believe target.
So I want to come this way just a hair.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
Okay, push it to me a little more now. There you go. So we can go right between those two in the middle, right between them two. Push it to me a little more. We got a lot of river here. We might as well use all of it.
Okay. Are we good there?
Right there, you're fine.
I cannot believe this.
You see those two big telephone poles way there in the future, way up?
Yes.
Aim for them.
Aim for them.
That's
okay,
my next target. That's what I do. I pick out targets on the shoreline in a straight line where the water is deep, and that's what I run for. So aim for those two telephone poles up in that hill.
Okay. All right. So I'm
Don't forget, look, because you're standing off to the side, you get a little distorted figure. So you've got to allow, kind of aim the mast. You got to allow, so you're not. Because if you were standing right over the top of this, then you'd be running straight with the mast. But you're off to the side, so your eyeballs is telling you something that's different.
So I'm going to come towards you a little bit. Okay. And try and shoot for my.
Those telephone poles.
Coming towards you a bit.
Yep. There you go.
Oh, now there's debris there.
That's just little stuff.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. When it's bigger, it'll do something. That's little. It might go chunk a little bit more.
Okay.
Now you can start going towards where the bridge just comes out of the trees.
Okay.
To me.
Goodness, I'm good at the end of the day.
Okay, now I'll pick out something.
Yeah.
Know what I picked out? See that big ball in the wires up there?
Yes.
Pick for that, aim for that ball.
Okay.
When we get there, then you pick out another make-believe tree or some make-believe bush or something. That's the way to steer it. The further you look down the river, the straighter you're going to run. Because your automatic, your body will tell you how to steer that. It takes a while.
So we should be pretty good here for a bit, right?
For a bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, the way it looks to me, we're probably got about 10 and a half feet of water under us. I'm guessing with that, because the water looks low to me, because the mud banks are sticking out. So I would say that we've got probably 10 and a half feet here, guessing. But they still haven't talked about closing down the river. We want some rain pretty soon. See, the water The water in the Missouri River raises in June. In all of the cities, especially up north in Wisconsin and Michigan, March and early April, the rivers come up because that's when the runoff comes in down. By the time the water from the mountains gets down here, it's June because it takes that long to get down here. So they'll have an influx of high water sometime in June, which will boost this river up a little bit. Now, along the shoreline, I haven't seen it when I pointed out, but there's blue signs with numbers on it, and that's the mile markers. I'm not paying attention here, so where the heck are we? Well, we're about to be coming up on a bridge. I see a bridge, so that tells me that we're on a bridge.
Do we have to put the mask down?
No,
again?
not for this one.
Not for this one.
291. Sloveny Park.
What?
Is this Sloveny Park?
No, is this Sloveny? Oh, okay. I don't know.
If it is, this is Highway 291.
Oh, all right. Right. Like this, or on this corner. Eventually there's going to be a red placard someplace in the trees up here. But it's on the other side of the bridge.
Oh, it's on the other side? Okay.
We're on a half tank on a port tank.
We're at a half? Switch it over then.
Switch it over.
That Gary switched over the other day and he was all the way. We're going along, all of a sudden, boom, the wind didn't stop. See a bunch of people start jumping around. All right, now go to the center of the bridge. Not the corner, but the corner. So we got the sides way up. When we put the sides all the way down, it is bad. These are the Coast Guard Auxiliary. And they're here because we need some safety. I don't like running with only one boat on the river. And the other boat you're going to see occasionally is the Missouri Water Patrol. And they are going to be with us all the way to St. Louis. This is the last day for these guys. When this started out, they didn't have any chase boats. We call it a chase boat with us. And it's not really, really dangerous. It's just more comforting to know that we got somebody close by that we have to be towed in, or something happens, we got help. That's about all. It's just reassuring that we got people by us. It's foolhardy to run by yourself. But this is Sloveny Park. We were here last year. If you want to, Ball Point last year. Back to this up. We have to make little miles every day. You can see that red placard wheel here. That's it. Right to that placard. So the numbers on the bridge, when the water hits 35, that's 35 feet from that number to the bottom of the bridge. So if you got a sailboat mast or a 30-foot mast, you'll make it. If you got 37 feet, you're going to lose 2 feet. So that's what that is. That's what our gauge board, we call it. And that tells you how far you are from the... See that, Kate? When the number is at 45, there's 45 feet of water from the number up to the bottom of the bridge. And when it's 35, there's 35 feet from the number to the bottom of the bridge. So you can tell how high your rig is when you're coming through the bridge. You know, like we had to take the mast down before because it would not have made it. Here we know with that number exposed exactly what the height is. The railroad company doesn't put those placards on. The state does. I mean,
Way.
Okay, a little bit, yeah. Keep watching you, you're okay. You're all right. A little more. A little more. A little more. A little more.
Well, this is harder than it looked.
How'd you like to have a driving rainstorm with 25-mile-an-hour winds coming at you?
I would.
That's what we had in the Mississippi River, and it was a long, long day. I had ice on my forehead, it froze right to my skin.
What about up in Nebraska when that 60-mile-hour wind came up?
Well, it was not very nice.
And then you guys broke your rudder?
Well, that was...
Up by Not Fort Randall.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of control.
That was at South Dakota, not Nebraska. when they ran in the shallow water and tore the prop off.
Right.
Now, if you look, make believe that the mast is the stem on a wristwatch with hands. Look at 1 o'clock. Just turn your face and look like you're looking at the 1 o'clock on your wristwatch. You see that white thing down there, way down there in the river? Way down. Okay, keep turning. It's about 1:30 now.
Oh, it's in the brush?
Push the handle to me. Push the handle. More yet. More yet. More yet. More yet. More yet. Okay, now go for it. Keep it on that white mark. And I'll watch you if you want it, but that's where you're heading for, that white mark. See, the left one's on my left shoulder, the red's on my left. Now we're going to cut across. We're going to go across from here to here. Then we're going to follow the bank all the way down on our right side.
Is that white thing in the trees?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I thought you said
It's white and green. It's white on the bottom and green on the top. The green just tells you what side of the riverbank you're on. The white tells you it's easier to see it at nighttime with a flashlight.
Flashlight?
Spotlight.
Yeah, look at it. Yeah, flashlight.
Actually, when the wind blows straight at you, it's a lot easier steering than when the wind is off to the side, because off to the side it keeps sliding the boat sideways through the water. By the way, it was supposed to be warmer today than it is. It's like something happened again. I don't know. Someone left the refrigerator door open.
Now this tape will probably be on this by itself.
You see that red can about 11 o'clock?
Yes.
Well, you gotta stay, the buoy. You gotta stay between that and the green one on the shoreline. That is the channel between them. Because if you get too far to the left, there's a big long wing dyke laying out. I can see it running way out, almost to get to it. So you gotta stay between the two. Just keep going for the green. Just at this angle, just keep going for the green.
We got a scissors on board.
It is not nice here again today. This is nice for me anyway.
So are you going on, Wes?
I'm going to catch up with the group in July the 4th. I'll be at Great Falls, Montana.
Yeah, I'm going to leave Monday.
I know, yeah, you said that you're get on.
Now, what should I cut? More kind of work?
Sort of, yes. Ooh. She will in a few minutes.
For my watch?
I usually don't steer it straight ahead. Absolute positive minimum will run in. I love 5 feet of water because now I know I got a little bit of room. That's why this morning I had the people sitting in the middle of the boat so that the back end wouldn't go down because I only had 6 feet of water and there might have been a rock laying there that I didn't know about. So I balanced the boat with the people on it every time we take off and come in so that I know where the propeller is. If you get too many in the back, the boat rides like this. Too many in the front, the nose hits first. And that's why that a lot of times after it's all over with, I measure the water with a stick to make sure I got enough water when I get in, so when we leave I know what's happening. I redo the lines, make sure that all the lines are tied properly so during the night we don't float away. So I'm usually kind of busy after we land the boat. And basically that's what I really do, is just land the boat and take off from the shore. And I always have other people up there steering because I've done my share of steering already.
So in the morning then, do you get a water level report, or you can just tell from...
No, the water level report is a stick that I stick in the mud at night, and I watch it. If the stick is sticking out a lot, the water went down. If the stick is not, okay. It's
called a history stick.
Yeah.
A history stick.
A history stick.
Okay, Kay.
Okay.
Laura, want to take the... Oh, we're kind of rough there for a while. We had a little bit of...
Felt it down below.
off.
No,
Over there.
it held steady.
Did it?
Didn't
It can be tied right, left, upside, or downside. The thing is, which one do you want to make the tree? So if you got a loop this way,
It's got to be around here.
yeah. If you got a loop that way, and this is your club,
Around the tree, back through the hole, and that hole on these two rabbits.
this is around the wrong tree. Tree is to the boat. Your thumb's got it covered up. You can't see it. You won't be able to see that. Here's what I'm saying. If this was this way, you could still tie it. Okay, because your tree's on one side. You want to come out of the hole, around the tree, and back into the hole. Now if it was this way, I would want to come out of the hole this way, around the tree, and back into the hole. And these are the two lines you pull. These are, you don't pull on them. Pull on a tree and a two
Now the
rail.
boat's, you like, oh, now the boat's tied.
Tight. Don't take the slack out on the cleat.
I'd have to look.
Now, Phil. It's in the village.
No plates.
Got it?
Yeah, 50% of the time I got it. Just depends on which way I turn the big hole.
Makes no difference. Except one way's this way and the other way's that way.
I tend to go on this We're doing just fine.
He's got it. By golly, he's got it.
Good bow line.
Bow line, huh?
Zen arms, warrior arms. Got that one down.
Do we need a new line on that?
Thickness like this. So I'm gonna use this one for that boat. And run a long line.
to storm the beaches, and also in Okinawa. They would build them just enough so they could float and put a crew on them. And as the craft went down the river to New Orleans to be shipped out, they would finish building the boat so that by the time they got to New Orleans, it was done. And then the crew would come back to Kansas City by rail, get on another half-built piece of steel, and build it as they went on down. The other thing they did, right near where we were there at Cobb Point, was the GM plant. It used to be an aircraft plant. And every single B-25 that was manufactured and used for Doolittle's raid on Tokyo was built in Kansas City at what's now the GM automobile plant. He was good. Yeah, he was. I don't even know if he's still living or not.
Yeah,
You can turn on a little bit to the left.
You always keep the green on your right and the red on your left.
All right.
And there's land markers too that are green and white. And I think there's one straight ahead. Look straight ahead into the trees. So that is brighter green. And that's what you would aim for.
All right.
And then there should be a red one behind you, lining you up with. So then they'll just crisscross the river.
Now,
show you your channel.
Is it like kind of like an opposite if I go turn it to the?
Yeah. You want to grab a hold of the tiller? You got to use your weight. Pull it this way. Send it that way.
Okay, so I pull it to the right and make it go left.
Yeah. See the green marker up there? Yeah. Line yourself up with that.
This way. I just don't see those. Oh, I see that one, the light green one.
Yeah, that's your marker.
You go like this.
What? Green and red signs.
They're not.
Okay.
It's
Push it out.
not out of the water.
It's about right. Okay. See the clump of trees down there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a
One
red.
right to the left?
Yeah, that's a red and white marker.
Okay.
So once you pass that green marker,
Uh-huh.
you put that in the center of your back and you aim for the white and red one down.
All right. All right.
You don't want to turn it too slow when you get past it. And then aim for the
Once you get Tonka, it's like this here, and all of a sudden,
Okay.
where your flags are supposed to be. And it can show you some other stuff that's landmarks.
really small down there. That's either was farmland that was abandoned years ago, or else that was the old river bottom was, and the soil isn't very good and the trees aren't growing very healthy. One of the two.
See the big tall tree out there by itself?
Yeah.
On the end. That's your next red mark.
So I stay in for it.
Just stay about 25 feet off and just follow the river.
So you worked on the river?
I just boated. I'm a boater. I boated. That was my whole Highland spot hobby. Spare time was all boating. And I got, like I said, I went to Miami to school and got my Coast Guard license. When people go get a license to fly an airplane, well, I got a license to drive a boat. And a 100-ton boat, any place on the Great Lakes, in all the water rivers in the United States, and 200 miles out to sea. I had a license in my pocket, well, not my pocket, but it's at home. But that's tells me I can do that. So I've been at this now for 60 years, boating. So I learned from trial and error and just reading a lot. I used to teach Coast Guard auxiliary classes like that guy taught the other day for us here. I used to teach those kids in yacht clubs in the area and everything. So I've been involved with boating. I used to own a marina. Involved with boating a lot.
The entire time I was in the Navy, I never tied a knot other than my shoes.
Oh, really?
But you painted a lot, didn't you?
I never painted a second.
Really? What'd you do in the Navy?
I was an aviation scorekeeper.
Ah,
I got in trouble.
a scorekeeper.
Yeah.
What'd you do? What's that?
I just worked with aircraft parts.
Oh, okay. Now, do I want to start bearing off to the right in a little bit?
You want to wait till you get all the way.
Oh,
to
past
the
beyond the
side.
red?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you'll line that up with the green marker on your right.
Practicing knots.
What kind of knot?
It's a full hitch.
Oh, okay.
Let me get I thought that.
I think about 10 minutes yet. That little town we had dinner in when that was arrested. They wanted us to stop there real bad, but we just put down on our schedule. And these two women came down the night before and they begged us. I said, okay, we'll stop. So we came in, we tied up to the dock for about 10, 15 minutes. We brought a whole bunch of sandwiches out. The whole town was at 12 of them. Wow. We fired a couple of cannon blasts and we took off and they caught up with the next day. They were happier than hell that we stopped. I mean, it was like a short. That's coming up. Yeah, those people really wanted us to show up that day. So they gave us each had a bag lunch. They make that all women made themselves in the town, all 6 of them, 12 people.
The population of these
we doubled the triple population. The ground crew pulled in and had sandwiches made. Both took off, the ground crew stayed a while on top of the people there. Everybody did it.
it's almost instantly cold. Now the reason I don't like a fuse is because if you got a tight touch hole, the fuse will run down into the cover, and then it runs out of oxygen and it quits burning. I've had to help them dig half a dozen out last year and one this year already out of it.
So you go during the repair site?
You know, and then that's how you transfer it from point A to point B. And then they've got the ready bag. You open the can, you take one out, put it in the ready bag, you shut the can, and then you advance it to the gun. That's what you load down the muzzle. So your powder's never exposed.
I'm glad you guys showed me that.
Now,
Two of those cartridge boxes on the board.
Walt,
Metal lids.
Walt DeBell is the NMLRA National Cannon Trainer.
Yeah, you just told me that.
He's the person that certifies all the people that are firing artillery.
Oh, wow.
He'll certify Derek when he's done. If he hasn't already, he'll be mailing him a land artillery certification.
Now when he's up there by himself, we want him to use the fuses.
I don't see any
And
problem.
that's coming from the skipper.
I don't see any problem with that.
Some fuses are fatter than others.
Yeah.
When you got the little fuse, we don't have the oxygen.
Is that the Corp of Discovery's gun? I suggest you drill the vent hole out a little bit. If you want, next time we get in port, I'll open it up.
We got electric drill on.
I don't mean giant, but just a little bit bigger.
We got a drill on board.
2 years, and I was in port cities all over the world. I got home.
Got it lit?
Okay.
It's good.
Fire!
Cleat me. This will be going out. No, this.
name's Walter. I'm portraying Corporal Richard Warfington, Corp of Discovery, under the command of Captain Meriwether Lewis and Captain Clark. And we started in 1803, and our journey lasted till 1806. As Corporal Warfington, mine started in 1804 and ended in 1805. We get to the Mandan village, which is north of Bismarck, North Dakota today. And this spring is where Captain Lewis put me in charge of the Keelboat and the crew to return the Indian chief, prairie dogs, part of the journals, plants and animals, and four chests full of stuff that they had collected up to this point. I completed my mission. I returned to Fort Cahokia with the Keelboat, and it went by Army courier over to Thomas Jefferson and is now in the Smithsonian Institute. I like to send everybody on a history detective mission. The Keelboat and Corporal Warfington vanished after 1805. We know that the Keelboat made one more trip down to Fort Massac with Wilkerson and Chateau. It mentions that there was 2 people working on the boat. We do not know if it was Corporal Warfington. Corporal Warfington was one of the older members of the expedition, and he was in charge of the white pirogue going up to Mandan. When he got back to Fort Cahokia, he mustered out. Captain Lewis tried to get him bonus money out of Congress. Congress turned him down, and they issued a land grant for Corporal Warfington. The land grant was never cashed. So the Keelboat and Warfington vanished like all good Army surplus. So if you're roaming around in the attic somewhere and you find something with Warfington's name on it, you'll know the rest of his story. My personal mission on this expedition is with the kids and the spreading of the history. It's been a great pleasure for me. I took early retirement to be associated with this group. They are safety conscious. They work hard at what they do. Everybody has their own forte. We have a lot of experts. It's been really an enjoyable historical event for me. I added one more thing to make it a historical event, and I've been hugging my way across America, and it's been a real delight. I've gotten more hugs from more ladies,